Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. The question I've asked in the title of the video is a pretty straightforward one and doesn't really need to be expanded upon. Do national polls matter? The answer is much less straightforward. It is news to absolutely no one who follows polls that former Vice President Joe Biden is way ahead of President Donald Trump in the national polls over the last 6 weeks, with leads of anywhere from 8 to 15 points. Today, 2 new national polls were released, one from YouGov, who polls for The Economist, and the other from Morning Consult, that show Biden with a 9 and 8-point lead, respectively. That is what we in the poll followers profession call a definitive lead. That means it's solid, consistent, and outside each poll's margin of error. So Biden's got this all wrapped up, right? Yeah, no. It's much more complicated than that. Aside from the fact that it's 16 weeks till Election Day, say it with me now, a week is a lifetime in politics, there's another problem with paying too much attention to general election polls taken on the national level. So getting back to the original question, do national polls matter? The answer to this, and many other questions in life as I have discovered, can be found in The Simpsons. The fact is, we don't elect presidents by popular vote. If we did, Grover Cleveland would have had 3 consecutive terms instead of 2 non-consecutive. Al Gore would have used the White House to improve his invention, and we would now be discussing whether Hillary Clinton has a chance at re-election. No, the electors we vote for, choose the president, and every state's got him. That means, much more important than national polls, are the state polls. The kind of state polls that get put in spreadsheets and, help create election night videos if anyone is crazy enough to do that sort of thing. The fact is, national polls, as much as pollsters tried to account for such things, can put too much emphasis on specific regions and cohorts. Cohorts means groups, by the way. For example, if pollsters focus on the South or men without college degrees, then Trump will do much better in the poll than if they focus on the West Coast or suburban women, both of which favor Democrats right now. The nation has become so polarized that even regionality can have a huge impact. State polls help shape presidential elections much more than national polls do. They are the lifeblood of any presidential election. Want proof? Ask anyone who has worked on a presidential campaign how many national polls the campaign paid for. The answer might surprise you. Spoiler alert, it's a really low number. State polls allow politicians, political reporters, pundits, and people like me to talk endlessly about how the Electoral College, the real way we elect the president, is shaping up over the course of a campaign. This channel wouldn't even exist without state polls. Or subscribers for that matter. And in a horrible, self-serving segue, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, bell icon, and like this video. So, does this mean national polls are useless? No, not at all. All polls in their own way are snapshots of a campaign at that particular moment, whether they're done locally or nationwide. While candidates focus on state polls, and rightfully so, it's out of a strategic concern about which states are safe, which are competitive, which ones to pull out of entirely, and which ones to spend as much money as they can spare advertising it. The purpose national polls do serve is to show how the nation's voters as a whole are taking in the campaign. If national polls are close, that means every electoral vote counts. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter whether you win the popular vote, just the electoral vote. If someone is out to a big lead, however, it gets you free publicity, which politicians love because of the bargain basement price. And if you're ahead by a lot, like Biden is, that means support is broad and has started to leak in traditionally safe states. That means the frontrunner can start expanding the electoral map to, say, Texas, Arizona, Georgia, Missouri, and North Carolina, or something. Where trailing by a wide margin nationally means you have to figure out where the bleeding is, and fast, which results in you spending money in the same states to defend them. Money you probably expected to spend trying to expand your own electoral map, like in, say, New Mexico, Nevada, Minnesota, or New Hampshire, or something. So per The Simpsons, the answer to the question of whether national polls matter is, short answer yes, but mostly if you're in the lead, long answer no, because we still elect the president on the state level. As Speaker of the House Tip O'Neill famously once said, all politics is local. That's true even when you're running for the highest office in the land.